connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
It's midday. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. The news is also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the world. We are live on citinewsroom.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu and this afternoon I'm here with
Caleb Kuda.
Coming up, Finance Ministry allays fears of organized labor of a second round of domestic debt exchange program which will affect pension funds.
Really, no. There's just nothing like that. Debunk any sense that there's a second round of domestic debt exchange program going to happen.
Also coming up, we take you to Kumeru in the Ashanti region where 8 prospective aspirants on the ticket of the NPP are expected to file their nominations to contest the seat ahead of a by-election following the death of the MP Philip Basua. Still ahead, dozens of homes at Oyarifa to be disconnected from the national grid for illegal power connection by the ECG as it continues its revenue mobilization exercise.
There are some meters that are not from ECG. In fact, we don't know where the meters where they got the meters from. So on the first visit, the team removed some of the meters and brought down some of the lines. But as we came here today, they have reconnected the lines again. So that is why we are here.
And later, Citi Foundation donates an amount of 10,000 cedis to Tamale Children's Home in the northern region as part of the company's annual Easter Orphan project.
We are so happy. This is our first time of seeing a greater happiness like this. Though they comes every year to celebrate with us, but not like this. So we are so happy and we say, may God bless Citi FM and Citi TV.
All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is live on all our affiliates across the country. Western region, we are live on Premier FM 100.5 in Takoradi, Beach FM 105.5 also in Takoradi, Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. Ashanti region, we are live on Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi, Volta region, Global FM 105.1 in Ho, Adanu FM 107.7 in Adakuluwaya, Northern region, Diamond FM 93.7 in Tamale, Upper West, Westlink 88.1 in Laura, Upper East, Source FM 100.1 in Boko, and Northeast region, we are live on Scarp FM 101.3 in Nakpandui.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
We are grateful for choosing us. Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has outlined some 5 key measures he says government is undertaking to secure the IMF balance of payment support. Mr. Ofori-Atta says the measures include reaching a 1.5% GDP growth within the medium term whilst reducing inflation. Making a presentation to Ghana's external creditors at the ongoing IMF World Bank Spring meeting in Washington, D.C., Ken Ofori-Atta says Ghana has put in place significant measures to secure the $3 billion bailout.
Firstly, Ghana is committed to an ambitious fiscal consolidation path of more than 5 percentage points of GDP based on enhanced revenue mobilization. We will aim at reaching 1.5% of GDP primary surplus over the medium term and increase domestic revenues to 18.5% of GDP. Secondly, Ghana, we are committed to ensuring price stability with inflation target below 8% over the medium term in line with Bank of Ghana's inflation target rate. Thirdly, looking to restore external buffers is one of our key objectives of the economic program and will target restoring critical levels for gross international reserves covering 3 months of imports by 2026. Finally, we will aim at restoring competitiveness with the objective of having exports over 37% of GDP. We continue to be confident that Ghana offers an open society, lots of optimism into the future, and opportunities for private sector growth.
Mr. Ofori-Atta also announced that government will not carry out another domestic debt exchange program as the IMF deal gets closer.
Really, no. There's just nothing like that. I think maybe it was a misunderstanding, but if you look at it in line with the 22nd December memorandum of understanding that we had, that we signed with organized labor associations, governments, pension funds were exempted, as you know. And that has not changed. It's therefore really not correct to say that we are planning a second round of domestic debt exchange program with pension funds. What we are doing is working with them on how they can further help government to reduce the debt servicing and ensure that we maintain sort of the debt sustainability, which was in the MOU agreement. And so those discussions are continuing. I really debunk any sense that there's a second round of domestic debt exchange program going to happen.
That was the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Meanwhile, the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, says the bank is working to reduce inflation drastically. Inflation for the month of March stood at 45% as announced by the Ghana Statistical Service. Dr. Ernest Addison says the figure will further go down.
Data also suggests that most of this is coming from more stable non-food prices, in a sense benefiting largely from the monetary policy tightness and the stable exchange rate situation. We are also seeing some stabilization in our core inflation numbers. And then on the real sector, we have seen moderation in economic activity. The bank's composite index showed that economic activity contracted by 7.6%, and also reflecting the improvements in the current account deficit. Broadly, we are making progress in bringing inflation down, and we are confident that by the time the debt is completed, all the anchors that will keep inflation in check will be back at bay.
You heard the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison.
A finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfred Bokpin, has stated that it is possible for the country to receive the $3 billion economic bailout it is expecting from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in May. This comes on the back of the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta's revelation that Ghana is likely to get the IM board approval by the close of May 2023. Also, the managing director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, has expressed optimism that the fund's executive board would grant final approval to Ghana's bailout request soon. Reacting to the finance minister's comments, Professor Godfred Bokpin said what the country needs now is a firm assurance from its partners that they will commit to close the country's funding gap to support its application for the IMF program.
I think that May is quite possible. This week has been tagged as the make or break week for Ghana, because from the IMF World Bank spring meeting, all the partners will be gathered over there. And therefore, one of the highly anticipated things was how to fast-track debt restructuring of vulnerable countries, low-income developing countries, including Ghana. And even before the spring meeting, our own estimate and the little insight that we have, we were looking at middle of May to the end of May. So there is some level of consensus around May as the as the optimal time that we could get a program. What that means is that the roadmap is that the Paris Club creditors have formed a partial committee. They are hoping that China will join. We are also going to commence restructuring of external commercial, but we may not be able to finish that restructuring before April ending. So what the country needs and what the IMF needs from Ghana's partners, bilateral and multilateral, is an assurance that they will commit to close the funding gap, either in the form of debt relief or fresh funding. The expectation is that this will be produced by the end of April.
Finance lecturer, University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfred Bokpin.
Now, the Accra East region of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, has retrieved over 40 fake meters at Oyarifa in the Dodowa district. The task force discovered the fake meters on their routine checks to inspect the status of ECG meters. The commercial manager of the Accra East region, Jonathan Asante, spoke to journalists.
The people here wanted to leave. They don't want to give credible answers to the question we are posing to them. And so what will happen eventually is that the person will be willing to pay whatever consequences without even showing the source of this canker in our community.
Have you had any of this customer say he or she has paid bills to some people?
No, for bills, no. But because in the first place, they are not receiving bills. Almost all these ones are not receiving because the sources are not from our system. So they usually would not get bills, and this is keeping rise our commercial losses. Some of them about 2 months, 3 months, some of them over a year, and some few will approach you and say they are not getting bills, and so you come investigating, and then you realize that it is this fake meters.
This is a huge loss to ECG. Don't you have any mechanism to quantify how much they have consumed through this particular?
What the strategy we want to adopt is that we confiscate these meters. We ask them to come through our district offices and apply for service. We will note whatever reading, whether reliable or not reliable, consumption on the meters, and then we debit their accounts when eventually they get new meters.
That was the commercial manager of the ECG in the Accra East region, Jonathan Asante. Now, the Accra East Regional Task Force of the ECG is currently in the Oyarifa enclave to disconnect dozens of homes connected illegally to the national grid. Hundreds of new houses are springing up in the area, but owners have connected power without permission from the ECG, a situation contributing to the ECG's ballooning debt. The public relations officer for the ECG in the Accra East region, Mary Ishan, spoke to the media ahead of today's exercise.
But this area falls under Dodowa district of Accra East. So some of the team came here first and noticed that there are some meters that are not from ECG. In fact, we don't know where the meters, where they got the meters from. So on the first visit, the team removed some of the meters and brought down some of the lines. But as we came here today, they have reconnected the lines again. So that is why we are here. We are here to check from house to house. Revenue mobilization. You know, we are not just collecting the money. We are also checking the integrity of our meters. If our meters are all working well, if there are faulty meters, then we also take steps of addressing it. So we are here. We also check on illegal connection. Basically, we are here to continue with the special revenue mobilization exercise. So
that was the public relations officer for the ECG in the Accra East region, Mary Ishan. Let's go live to the telephone lines and speak to my colleague Fred who is currently with the ECG Revenue Mobilization Task Force team. Good afternoon to you, Fred. Thanks for your time. Paint a picture of this Oyarifa enclave where we understand some homeowners have connected power illegally to their homes.
Yeah, the Oyarifa enclave where we are is more like a new settlement. I must say you will see new buildings springing up. And these are, in my view, very big buildings or mansions to some extent. And the entire enclave has no proper electricity connection. When I say proper, it is kind of the people just fell on some people to connect them. So you would see the electrical wires hanging and some even crossing the road. this particular location is not too far from the Ayi-Mensah police station enclave. So when you're on your way to Ebri, you reach before you reach the Ayi-Mensah police station, the place is just to your right, and there are new developments happening currently in this particular area. And from what we see, it basically means that the people are desperate to get electricity, and when they are unable to get it as quickly as possible, they fall on some quack electricians to connect them. So currently the disconnection exercise is taking place where they are disconnecting all those lines from the national grid. So again, you would realize that the task force, when they take one light from one end to the other, almost 5 homes or 5 houses get disconnected directly. And the number of residents who were in the house before we got there, some of them are explaining that they got these connections through some persons they are unable to even name in the first place. But I believe this exercise is part of the national exercise, the revenue mobilization exercise, which is being done by regions. And this is specifically the Accra East region that is embarking on this exercise this morning. The PRO is here. She can better paint a picture for us what they seem to or hope to achieve by the end of the day. Welcome to Citi News.
Thank you.
Your full name?
Mary Shenopong.
Now, bringing us here this morning, the exercise being started today. Why would you bring us to this particular locality this afternoon?
Thank you. Okay, so we came here I think about last week, and we noticed that most of the meters here are, should I say, mistake. And then some of the connections are also not ECG standard. So we wanted to come here and then all those illegal meters, remove them, surcharge the customers, and then regularize things. So that's why we are here.
You showed us about 40 meters that you said they are fake. I, as an ordinary person, can't tell what a fake meter is. I am only paying money and I am connected. So what do I need to see to know that these meters are fake, and where are these fake meters coming from?
For where they are coming from, I might not be able to tell, but from some of our sources, we got the information that some of them are coming from Togo or elsewhere. So I cannot pinpoint where these meters are coming from. And also, when you look at, we showed you the meters, and you realize that these meters are very, very tiny. And the people have mimicked the writings on the ECG meter. So you see that they've written Property of Electricity Company of Ghana. But then when you remove that sticker, you realize that that is not the new meter. So we came with some technicians, those who have that expertise to tell that this meter is fake. So they are able to tell that this meter is fake, this is genuine.
Why would you do this in the company of policemen?
When we came here first, some of the customers resisted and they were trying to attack our personnel, so we needed to provide some security for our officers. I mentioned earlier that this exercise is a friendly exercise. We are not here to intimidate anyone. It's very friendly, but then if we get to a community where the residents are trying to resist or attack our staff, we also need to protect our staff.
So, Howard, that is the PRO for the Accra East region, Mary Eshan, speaking to us on the back of the exercise here within the Oyarifa enclave.
Very well, most grateful for your time. Fred Duho is my colleague here at Citi FM and Citi TV, currently with the ECG Revenue Mobilization Task Force. We'll bring you more subsequently when we get more information from Fred. Caleb will bring us another one from NEDCO, a related story.
Now, the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, is appealing to its consumers to cooperate with its officers who would be embarking on a revenue mobilization exercise to begin on Tuesday, April 18. NEDCO indicates that the operation has become necessary as consumers owe the institution over 1 billion cedis as of January this year. The exercise is expected to target state-owned enterprises, ministries, metropolitan, municipal municipal and district assemblies, among others. Speaking to Citi News, the corporate communications manager of NEDCO, Maxwell Kotoka, said consumers who engage in altercations with their officers would be dealt with.
This exercise is not aimed at antagonizing anybody for any reason. It's purely, ultimately aimed at serving the customer better. Because without the money, we cannot get more money to go and buy more power to make available. We cannot also buy basic logistics and do the work the same people expect us to do. So it's essentially aimed at serving them better. So nobody should antagonize us. There is no need to fight us. There's no need to obstruct us. It is purely money we are coming to collect. And if you watch carefully, you will notice that we are not even calling it disconnection. It's a revenue mobilization. All we want is to collect the money owed us. If you pay, we won't even have to get to the level of or the point where we have to disconnect. However, it is good to plan ahead and, how they say, trust in God but lock your door. So just as we want to trust that our customers will be very law-abiding and cooperative, just in case there may be one or two who may want to do otherwise, we are coming along with security. There is adequate security provision for all the teams. And so they will be there not to harass or intimidate anybody. No, they are just there to ensure that we are all, both the supplier and the customer, are law-abiding.
Maxwell Kotoka, Corporate Communications Manager, Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO.
This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa here with Caleb Kuda. Still to come, we take you to Kumeru in the Ashanti region where 8 prospective aspirants are expected to file their nominations to contest a seat on the ticket of the NPP ahead of the by-elections following the death of the Member of Parliament for the area, Philip Baswa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, there's a charged political atmosphere at Kumeru in the Ashanti region ahead of the upcoming by-election. Now, the New Patriotic Party is closing nominations after it officially began preparations to select a candidate for the upcoming elections. 8 persons have picked up their nominations and are expected to file them by the close of day today. Supporters are engaging in fanfare activities as the prospective aspirants turn up at the party's constituency office to finalize processes for the nominations filing. Let's go live to Kumeru and speak to our Ashanti regional correspondent, Hafiz Tijani. Good afternoon to you, Hafiz. Thanks for your time. Can you describe the atmosphere at Kumeru where you are currently?
So when the first person came to file his nomination at the party's office, he came the company of supporters who were engaged in drumming and dancing and singing as well to escort him to the party's office to file his nomination. So while the MPP is still making some preparations to choose someone who represents them in the by-election, an independent candidate has also emerged. He contested the MP in the previous election, and he is also expressing interest in the upcoming by-election. And the NDC as well is also campaigning ahead of the by-election. The the NDC's candidate here is unopposed. He's going unopposed as far as the NDC's primaries is concerned. So he has been cleared and he's a candidate that will represent the NDC here. So while the MPP is preparing to select someone to represent the party, the independent candidates and the NDC side are already engaged in campaigning. They are visiting all the areas here within the constituency, the 25 electoral areas, to campaign ahead of the by-election. So, Howard, let me just run you through some of the persons who have picked up their nominations so far. So we have 8 persons, as you mentioned earlier. We have Kwame Osei-Bempah, we have Kwame Appiah-Kubi, and we have Yao-Ba. Yao-Ba is a former member of parliament for this constituency. So he was defeated by the late MP. And we have Dr. Da Costa Boaji, and then we have Ernest Yao Enim, and then we have Ama Sewa, who is the only female among these 8 persons who have expressed interest to lead the MPP into the election. And we have Dr. Philip Bano, and we have lawyer Osei Edward, who is also contesting. So Ernest Yao Enim, he came in the company of some of the family members or relatives of the late MP. We're told that he was a very close relation. He was very close with the late MP, and then he had the support of the family of the late MP and support of the late MP. So those people who came with him were clad in the T-shirts of the late MP, and some of them could not hold back their tears. They were crying because of the mourning mood that is still within the constituency. So Ernest Yao-Ba has been speaking about why he is the best person to represent the Kumewu constituency or to replace the late MP.
Honorable Baswa was the district chief executive for our district when we were within the Citi East area. Then he became the member of parliament from 2012 all the way till when he passed 2 weeks ago. And we are ready, and I believe that my people are here to support me, and we believe that the good Lord will give us the strength to carry on, and we will bring the victory to the MPP party.
What makes you a good replacement?
I wouldn't say so much, but what I know is that the people have the faith in me and they believe that I'll be able to carry on. We were with Honorable Baswa all these years. We helped the party. We made sure MPP retained the seats. When things were tough, we came together, we rallied behind him, and were able to get a victory for the party. We came to serve the party, we didn't come to serve individuals. And that's one thing people get it mixed up. We serve the MPP party, we don't serve individuals. Honorable is no more, but the party lives on. So we are here to serve the party, and we know that the good people of Kumewu know our track record and they know what we can do. And I believe that once they give me the mandate by the 23rd, I will be able to deliver the victory for our party. And our party will smile once again. I know that Honorable is gone, but his spirit lives within us.
Ernest Yao Enim is a parliamentary aspirant for Kumewu on the ticket of the NPP. Hafiz is still on the line. Hafiz, which of the 7 persons remaining are we expecting to file later today?
So a few minutes ago, before we came on air, another person, Kwame Osei-Bempah, has filed, and he's confident of victory. He says he has worked for the party for a very long time, and he has a vision of transforming the constituency, of ensuring that the Kumewu has a vibrant economic atmosphere or a vibrant economic environment so that jobs can be created for the teeming youth in this constituency. And he's confident of emerging the winner should he go through the processes successfully.
So after today, we know they're all supposed to file by close of day. What happens next after today?
So the vetting will be done and the party will select the people who are qualified to represent it. And April 23 is the day of the election when the party will be electing someone to represent it in the by-election.
Now, the Minister of Roads and Highways was in Kumewu earlier this week, and rehabilitation of some roads in the area. He inspected that. But the people you have been speaking to, I mean, the supporters and people who have come to support their candidate, their preferred candidates, would the rehabilitation of these new roads have any effect on who they eventually would want to emerge as their parliamentary candidate to contest the seat on the ticket of the NPP, and eventually if the person would go into the 2024 elections?
Also, on our way here, we've seen some equipment working on the main Jasi Kumewu road. They are building the road, and there's been an expansion of the stretch. So coming here, we are when work started on the major road, and that has been a concern for.
Hello, Hafiz.
Yeah, tell me how.
I lost you momentarily. Can you please come again?
Yes, on our way here, work was ongoing, and there's been an expansion and a grading of the road. And then after the minister left, we are told the next day work started, and the road, the major Ifijasi or the main Ifijasi Kumewu road, has been a source of concern for inhabitants and other road users within this enclave. And that is what they have been calling on the government to do, to fix that road, because the deplorable nature of that road has resulted in a number of crashes on that stretch. And also, robbers sometimes take advantage of the situation to rob commuters and other passengers. So Kumewu is a very dependable seat for the MPP when it comes to elections. So people here say, though they have their loyalty to the party, but they want the party to do more to bring development here. They think that even without the road, the MPP was going to emerge victorious in the upcoming by-election because of its dominance in this constituency. But they believe that with the coming in of the intervention or government's intervention to give a facelift to the roads within the area, that is also going to make a very positive impact as far as elections are concerned within the constituency.
All right, many thanks for your time. Hafiz Tijani is my colleague in the Ashanti region. We still stay in that region because wood sellers, traders, and some residents at Akwatia Line in Kumasi are accusing security operatives of inflicting injuries on them in their bid to evict them from trading in the area. Scores of traders who have been operating at the Wood Market Enclave at Akwatia Line for years have been asked to leave to allow for a redevelopment of the area. The Akwatia Line Wood Sellers Association and other traders have described the move by the authorities as unfair since they have not been given places to relocate to. During a Citi News visit to the area this morning, there was heavy security presence as some persons in the area accused the police of assaulting them, which has led to some people sustaining injuries. The chairman of the Akwatia Line Wood Sellers Association, Mohammed Umar, has been speaking to Citi News on the developments.
I think it was 12 nights. Somebody called me that he heard those people who come today.
Which people?
The contractor and his people. Municipal. And the contractor will come to the site today. And I said, no, it won't happen. So I off my phone till dawn. After prayers, then I picked the phone. I saw calls, more than 30 calls, missed calls. So I followed the calls, and they said those people are here arresting people, beating people. So I wanted to enter there, and they told me to go back. So I went back to pass back there and came here. So when I came, I asked my people what is going on, and they showed me the pistol, the bullet, and what happened. They beated people. You saw the boy, his head, his hand, everywhere.
Which people actually beat them?
The anti-robbers and the police, because I wasn't there at the time. What they told me is the anti-robbers and the police and the langas. There are three categories.
Have some of your people been arrested as well?
Yes, they have arrested people to the police station. We called Zongo police station because we took the case there. So they told us they are coming. Not knowing they went to Asawasi or what they call the airport runabout. They brought those people here. So you are talking and they tell you, no, the contractor said they should do it.
So that was the chairman of the Akutia Line Wood Sellers Association, Mohammed Umar. Let's go live to Akutia Line and speak to our bureau chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opomafo. Good afternoon to you, Edward. Thanks for your time. Now, who is supervising this relocation of the wood sellers, and can you also tell us more about the current security situation at Akutia Line?
And so what we understand is that the Municipal Assembly is very much aware of this exercise, and as part of that, number of police officers have been deployed to the area to ensure that this exercise becomes successful, as in their opinion. But what we have been told is that earlier this morning, there were some security operatives in the area who fired warning shots, and also because some of the people in the area, these traders in the area, are saying that they have been operating there for many years. Some claim that ever since they were born, that's where they have been operating. Their parents and even some of their grandparents have been operating there as wood sellers and also engaging in various kind of trades. And so once they were asked to leave the area, there was some kind of resistance. And so the officers also used some kind of force, that's according to the residents. And there was even one gentleman that I spoke to. According to him, he is not even part of the people. He was just standing by making a phone call, and some officers pounced on him, and he was severely beaten. We saw the injuries that he had sustained, and also how he was badly affected. Even in the process of talking to us, he had to be rushed to the hospital. And there was another man too that we saw who was also in a similar situation. He was injured, and he claims that he was beaten by the police officers who were around. But when I personally engaged some of the police officers who were around, they said they came in later, and so they can't speak to the fact that some people have been beaten by security operatives. But the area, there's a tense atmosphere. Many people are worried about their people who are just standing by. They feel that since authorities have not relocated them to a specific area, they feel it's not the right thing to do. And so there should be a proper arrangement before they are being asked to leave the area. But as I speak to you, there are contractors who are on site, and they have actually barricaded some parts of the area, and a number of people who used to operate in the area. And so what is being done, they are not being allowed to operate or even engage in whatever they are doing. And so many people are saying they are going to be affected. There are some who deal in selling of charcoal. There are some who sell salt and all that. And all these people that we've been talking to, they claim that since there's no alternative arrangement for them, it's really a difficult situation. They feel they are going to lose. And so authorities should reconsider the decision. We've been trying to engage the municipal chief executive of the area, but he has not been available. But he has assured that he will avail himself, and then he will give some kind of explanation to us. What we understand is that there has been some kind of engagement with the people, but there wasn't any kind of conclusion. And so this time around, that the people are not being allowed to operate, and the fact that they're barricading the area is the main issue that the people are worried about.
How vast is this particular land in question?
Well, so for those who know Kumasi very well, once you move towards the Wayek area, getting to the Dagomba line section, on your left, there's that vast land where a lot of people have been operating, mainly woodworkers, but there are some people also trade in various activities. So there are hundreds of people who operate there on a daily basis, and so that has been their usual kind of operation that they've been engaging in. And these persons are saying that some of them were born in the area, but when it comes to even operating at those specific shops, they have individual areas that have been allocated to each of them. And so there are many, many people who are around that area towards parts of Abuabo area. And so they're saying that a lot of people, although they are unable to even tell the number of people who have been affected by this, but they're saying that there are lots of people who are really affected because for many years, some claim that over 5 decades they've been there, and so that has been their source of livelihood.
What options are left for these people who we understand may have to evict or may have to leave their place? Are they looking at taking on the municipal assembly for this particular evictions since we're not given ample time for them to vacate the area?
What the woodworkers have been saying is that they want authorities to provide them with an alternative. So they cited the Anglada Junction situation, those woodworkers who used to be there and who are relocated to Sokoban. And so Sokoban Wood Village area was prepared for them before they were relocated. And so they want a similar arrangement to be put in place for them. And they're saying that if that is not done, they don't know even how they are going to start all over again. And even what they have been told is that the contractor who is coming there is also coming to come up with shops. But these shops, they have not been given assurances that indeed after these shops are completed, they'll be given some specific areas to operate. And so that's their major worry. So they feel like they don't know what to do next, and there is no hope for them. And so authorities have to find a way of giving them some kind of assurance, and then they know their next line of action.
Most grateful for your time, Edward Opomafo is our bureau chief for the Middle Belt. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still ahead, Citi Foundation donates an amount of 10,000 cedis to Tamale Children's Home in the Northern Region as part of the company's annual Easter Orphan project. We have details of that plus other stories coming up shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Resurrect your love for shopping at the Kitia Victory Sale happening inside Kitia Mall. Get up to 30% off selected items from our wide variety of furniture and home accessories and leave feeling glorious. Explore our furniture universes and be spoiled for choice. There's a perfect item for your home on every corner. The sale runs till the 16th of April, so visit us on the Spintex Road and enjoy shopping at a discount this Easter. Let's spend Easter together. This Easter holidays, whatever you do, make sure you spend the break with DSTV. That's right. It's time to kick back, relax with all the action and the drama from the Premier League and all our great football content. Bring on the laughter and the fun with the best holiday entertainment in Africa with brand new blockbusters and series and the freshest entertainment for kids. Get your decoder today for just 269 Ghana cedis. Renew your subscription using *759#. DSTV, it's your moment.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, Ghana has been cited for human rights abuses, including extrajudicial killings. This was contained in the Ghana 2022 Human Rights Report released by the U.S. State Department. Although the report lauds the government efforts, it says impunity remains a barrier to human rights. There is more in this report.
The annual country report on human rights practices covers internationally recognized individuals' civil, political, and worker rights as set forth in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other international agreements. The U.S. Department of State submits reports on all countries receiving assistance and all United Nations member states to the U.S. Congress. For about 50 years, the country reports on human rights practices have served as a vital resource for various stakeholders that work to promote respect for human rights and accountability for injustice. The State Department's report for 2022 cites Ghana for some human rights infractions. The 28-page report cites Ghana's government for arbitrary killings, citing an incident in February 2022 where police chased a man suspected of a traffic violation into a traditional chief's palace in Yende in the northern region and opened fire, killing another man and injuring 8 others with stray bullets. The police announced a suspension with reduced pay of the 6 officers involved, but the police is yet to release the results of an internal investigation. Another incident cited as arbitrary deprivation of life was during the 2020 election period where 8 killings were reported with at least 2 killed by the National Election Security Task Force, composed of military and police units, and at least 2 deaths from civilian violence. Investigations into these deaths remain pending with little progress. Here is human rights lawyer and member of parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Susu, sharing some thoughts on the report.
We probably must all join the agenda to call for an independent police commission that will be investigating the Ghana Police Service for their excesses, because allowing the police to investigate themselves is really part of the reasons why we are where we are. Because if you look at, for example, the West Small issue that we're talking about, I was heavily involved in that, and as we speak now, still involved, trying to seek justice for this young man that was killed for no apparent reason, and at the glare of police officers who were supposed to rather protect this life. But here we are. The police officers are involved in processes that led to killing of someone, and yet the police has refused to investigate. The IGP has refused to investigate. We have dragged the IGP before the Committee of Parliament, and the Committee of Parliament is investigating it, Shraj is investigating, but I think that these institutions over the years have not really held the police accountable as they should. But when we have an independent police commission, whose legal duty would be to investigate, prosecute, and probably make public what they do with police excesses and what police do wrong, I am very confident that it would improve policing in Ghana.
On respect for civil liberties, the 2022 Human Rights Report cites February 11 arrest of Oliver Barker-Vormawor, an activist critical of the government, in response to a series of Facebook posts. After initially charging him with misdemeanor charges of making false statements, police upgraded the charges to felony treason and held him in prison for 35 days before a judge released him on bail. Also in February in Takoradi, 5 or more police in plain clothes attacked a producer with a privately owned broadcaster, Connect FM, after he photographed the officers while they sat in a restaurant with their guns displayed and holding men in handcuffs. The report also focuses on Ghana's handling of sexual orientation and gender identity. The report cites the country for the criminalization of sexual intercourse with persons of same sex, with police using the law to harass the LGBTQ+ community. It cites an example in Cape Coast where police detained 2 lesbian community members at a house that had served as a gathering for the LGBTQ+ community members. The landlord subsequently terminated the lease, specifically citing their opposition to the LGBTQ+ community. The 2022 Ghana Human Rights Report acknowledges that the government took some steps to address corruption and human rights abuses by officials, whether in the security forces or elsewhere in the government, but says impunity remains a problem.
That was a news desk report put together by Citi News' Charles Owusukumi.
Teachers under the Technical Vocational Education and Training (TVET) are expected to write their first licensure examination by close of year. This, according to TVET service, is to improve the capacity of potential teachers under the program. A teacher licensure examination was introduced in 2018 to ensure that prospective teachers, after graduating from teacher training colleges, were fit for purpose. Director General of TVET, Mausi Nudako Awiti, has been explaining the modalities for the exam.
We have many of our teachers coming from maybe Legon, Trek, and without doing education. And so having them write the exams to be licensed is equally very important. We are considering having 2 different exams, one by the Teacher Council and then one by the Commission, PTVET. PTVET will see to the technical side where they would conduct the exams for the teachers who are teaching in the various trade areas, and then NTC will see to the teachers who are teaching the core subjects and the core subjects.
So when are you looking at rolling this out?
We are in that discussion, and we are very hopeful that this year would have finalized everything, and then the first one would be rolled up. We have some of our teachers who have written the exams and have been licensed. Those who were GS, from the former GS schools, they all wrote were licensed. But many of the teachers who are the former agencies that were not under Ministry of Education, majority of them have not written. And they are also very eager to also get licensed.
Mausi Nudako Awiti is the Director General for the Commission of Technical Vocational Education and Training, TVET.
Now, the Citi FM Foundation has donated an amount of 10,000 cedis, assorted food items, soaps, books, and other items to the Tamale Children's Home as part of Citi FM and Citi TV's annual Easter Orphan Project. Now, the initiative is to help in the smooth running of the home as well as put smiles on the faces of the children. Northern Regional Correspondent Dinah Ingwan has more.
The Tamale Children's Home was established in 1969 by the Department of Social Welfare. Situated within the Nyuani community in the Sanaigu municipality, the home serves as shelter for orphans, the vulnerable, and people with special needs. In terms of education, the home has crèche to KG2. For the first time in the Northern region, the Citi FM Foundation, through its Easter Orphan Project, visited the Tamale Children's Home to celebrate Easter with the over 30 children. They were also joined by children in the community to celebrate the day. It was a fun-packed activity as children participated in dancing competition, musical chairs, and others. After the competition, then came the more exciting part, food. Staff of Citi FM and TV in the Northern Zone interacted and ate with the children. Cash of 10,000 cedis, assorted food items, toiletries, books, among others, were also donated to the home.
On behalf of Citi FM Foundation, our listeners, our viewers, we present these items to you to run the home. And we are also presenting a cash of 10,000 cedis to manage the orphanage. We understand the challenges here. And this donation is part of the Easter Orphan Project, an initiative of Citi FM Foundation. It's an annual event. We do it in selected orphanages across the country. This is the first time we are doing it in the Northern region. And Nyuani Children's Home, or Tamale Children's Home, is also the first time we are here to present these items to you. And we hope that these items will really be used for the children.
We want to thank Citi FM and Citi TV as well. In fact, we are most grateful today. We have a fun, as you can see. We are so happy. This is our first time of seeing a greater happiness like this. Though they come every year to celebrate with us, but not like this. So we are so happy, and we say, may God bless Citi FM and Citi TV. May God bless you and lift their works higher and higher, so that the project people have started, may it increase and go the whole wide world. Thank you so much. We are so grateful this morning. God bless you all. And please, let me also add this. I think they are giving out a cash of 10,000, but we'll be much happy if they can use it and rewire our place and paint it up for us. We'll be very much grateful.
Aside from obsolete electrical cables, the home is also challenged in terms of accommodation. Currently, the other children are housed in one of the staff bungalows after a rainstorm ripped off its roof. According to management, some children have also overgrown their beds.
The problem we have is some of the children, they are grown more than the beds, which they can't sleep comfortable in it. They lie down and squeeze themselves. The mattresses cannot even enter inside the beds because they are smaller than the mattresses. So that's our main challenge here. We need extra mattresses like 30, both babies and then grown-ups. And then our rewiring. According to the electrician, I think last year the staff room catch fire. We called him and she came and checked and said because it has kept long since they built the place, they have not rewired it. So the wires is cut and joined. So unless we take effect we have to work it on effectively, because if heavy rain comes, it can catch fire. The place can, because we have witnessed it. It's not the Latusha we went there, because we have witnessed at the staff room that a heavy rain came and the place catch fire, but they were able to control it.
The home has provided shelter and given home to many vulnerable children, including 5-month-old Ridwan.
So Ridwan is 5 months old, and he's a recent child who has been brought into the Tamale Children's Home. So I find out from the assistant supervisor to tell us under what circumstance he came in here.
Okay. Ridwan came here 2 months ago. He came with the police and the social worker from the Tamale Teaching Hospital. They did a medical checkup and they brought him here.
So how has it been like managing someone like Ridwan?
Since she came, we don't encounter problems with him. She has been well since, because the doctors did check up and they said there was nothing wrong with him. And she's not somebody who falls sick. She's always strong. It was only once, I think the first week she came, that she was down. So we went to the hospital, but it was nothing serious. So since then, I think she has been fine for now.
So when it comes to hospital bills and if these children fall sick,
yes,
who takes care of the bills?
The hospital bills, I think teaching hospital was the hospital who helped us. But recently there's a problem that the hospital had with the officers there. So now we are dealing with cash and carry. We are dealing with cash and carry to the children.
And the health insurance.
Yeah, the health insurance are there, but it's not effective. You know, most of the things we buy, medication, most of them, it's just the first process that maybe is covered, but the rest is we buy. They prescribe and we buy.
After the fun, it was now time for the Citi team to leave. But wait. These grateful children have a message to viewers and listeners who made this possible.
My name is Yanuya Yusuf and I am 15 years old. I came here since I was small. That is 2007 there about. Yes. And now I attend Uni Life Academy. I'm in JHS2. We are so grateful to have these items here. We thank Citi FM and Citi TV for what they've done. Pray that the Lord will richly bless them, give them long life, good health and prosperity. Thank you.
My name is Yusuf Fishata and I'm 15 years of age and I attend Savannah International School. I'm from 2 and I'm here to tell people that what we have to do for us, we've appreciated. And we say one more time, you come and do more than what you've done. And we say, Citi TV, we appreciate what you've come and do for us. And we say, God will richly bless people.
God bless you. Amen. And give you long life, prosperity, and good health. Amen.
Amen. Okay, what do you have to say to Citi TV and Citi FM and our viewers and listeners?
God bless you. Amen. And give you long prosperity and give you. Amen.
Amen. So, as you heard from the children, they are saying a big thank you to supporters of the Easter Orphan Project under the Citi FM Foundation. They say a big thank you to all who donated to make this a success. From the Tamale Children's Home, I am Dinah Ungwan for Citi News.
And that'll be all for this week's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. The news was also live on all our affiliates across the country. Western Region, Premier FM and Beach FM, both in Takrade, Bono Region, Greener FM, Sunyain, Ashanti Region, Orange FM, Kumasi, Volta Region, Global FM, Ho, Adanu FM in Adakluwaya, Northern Region, Diamond FM, Tamale, Upper West, Westlink in Laura, Upper East, Source FM in Boko, and Northeast Region. We were live on Scarp FM in Nakpandiri. You can please log on to citinewsroom.com for more stories. My name is Hawa Idrisu, and I did this with
Caleb Kuda.
Many thanks for your company. Do have a great weekend. Michael Obodo is up next with the afternoon's edition of Citi Business News. Do have a good afternoon.
Citi News.